Welcome, soul healers, to the Heart Led, Soul Fed podcast. I'm psychic medium and old soul Christine Gold. This is a safe space to explore all things mystical and magical, embodying practical spirituality and truly reclaiming who we are at a soul level. Living this lifetime heart-led and soul-fed. Subscribe on your favorite way to podcast and let the healing begin. Hello, everyone. I'm Christine. Come on in. Come on in. This is episode 266. Love repeating numbers. And yeah, today is a very, very special day. I'm so happy to have my next guest. You might know who they are. I mean, when I came across their videos, I think it was months ago, and we all know that the universe, is basically feeding you stuff, right? So when you're ready to receive it, the video, the person, the message will show up. So when I saw their sound healing, alchemic meditations, their sound baths around the new moon, the full moon, whether it was retrograde, there's some planet going here, going there. It was just a beautiful experience. If you are fans of Dynasty Electrik or you don't know who they are, feel free to check them out on YouTube and then comment as well and let us know where you're from, where you are in the world. Normally I'm in Calgary, but right now I'm in Nova Scotia and I'm very close from my next guest, and I'm just going to bring her up. This is Jenny
Hi,
and
everyone. Thank you for having me, Christine.
thank you. Thank you. And yeah, we're only a couple hours away. Landing here, I've never been to the East Coast, and I thought, oh, there's some similarities with Vancouver Island. But when I started looking around, like Burnt Head Coat Park, that place with the red rocks and the red sand, and just after Hurricane Lee, I
Mm.
was just blown away. The beauty here, and it is the total opposite of Vancouver Island. There's nothing to compare it to.
Oh, well, I'd love to hear what you feel the difference is. I've never been to Vancouver Island. I was out west for quite a while, but I didn't make it up there. I was mostly in Southern California. And,
Mhm.
I've always been sort of mystified by that area as well. So how do you feel they're very different from each other? Because in some photographs, they look almost similar.
Yeah, they do. It's more of the landscape. I mean, the rocks in on Vancouver Island are more. There's more gray. Like I think of Ucluelet, like the black rocks, very black and very rocky and jagged.
Mm.
Just so smooth and beautiful, but they look like dried dough. That's how I described it to somebody. When they get the cracks in the
Yeah.
rocks, but they're smooth lines. And then the red rocks and then the red river that's around here as well.
Mm.
It's pretty spectacular. Whereas Vancouver Island, um, it actually I find it saltier there, if that makes sense. I know, like, East Coast is known for their saltiness, but I haven't really encountered that yet, that smell.
Mm.
And then with the trees and just the landscape, it's but I also feel that there's a lot of energy here too, like, there's different, maybe you wanna talk about that too, like the portals?
It's a very magical place. It's a very mystical place. There's a lot of the folklore here, the fairies and the mermaids and the nature spirits and all of that is actually comes from, Ireland and Iceland. An energy healer friend that I met here said that this is part of the Avalonian Trail, which is like this mystical trail of energy and folklore and supernatural energy kind of coming from that part of the world and sort of ending up in Nova Scotia. She also mentioned that a lot of the energy healers and practitioners she knows that left the area for a while are all coming back at this time for some reason. And so I keep bringing myself back to, oh, there's definitely a purpose, a really deep purpose as to why I've landed here at in this time and space.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting that you say that because I feel that too. I mean, I'm talking about like the Celtic music. There's that vibe there. You got, you know, Peggy's Cove. There was a gentleman playing the bagpipes.
Hmm.
Always resonated with that type of music. It's, and I know that that type of music will buffer or keep out any lower energies. It basically kind of evaporates that. And thinking of the people that are here, especially the men, I just noticed that today. I encountered quite a few men that were very large and tall, and it just gave me Viking vibes.
Hmm.
So I just found that interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, well, one of the things I really resonated with me when we first met is that your name is Christine Gold and that you were
Yes.
really attracted to, to coming here and to hosting a retreat here at Seal Harbor Sanctuary. This is an area that is known for its gold. There's so much gold everywhere in this whole general vicinity, but really the whole province, not to mention the history of, sunken treasures and buried treasure and all of that. So I just thought it was interesting when you mentioned your name, Christine Gold. I said, well, this is really the land of gold. And gold is considered to have a really high vibration. It's really interesting how it formed from supernovas colliding in outer space billions of years ago. And, the stardust sort of falling to the earth was how gold is created in its natural state. And so it's literally stardust. There's literally energy from the cosmos here in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Can we not all envision that? I mean, whether you're here or you're not, you can just imagine that we really are made up of everything.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah. So like when I uh, stumbled across your videos, I was just like, okay, I need to just reach out. I just felt, called to reach out, find out more. I was really intrigued with your story as well. Like, are you originally from Nova Scotia?
So I came here for the first time when we bought the property last fall. It's been almost a year ago. And part of what interested me at first in Nova Scotia, of Nova Scotia, is that um, I have ancestry here. My great grandfather was a shipbuilder on the other side of the province in Digby.
Oh,
And
Digby. I'm going there soon. I've got a whole
oh,
lighthouse tour planned. Go ahead. Sorry.
very cool. I actually haven't been there yet either. I definitely plan to explore that area. But he was from Digby, and so I thought, wow, it would be really interesting. And also where I'm from in New England, there's definitely a mystique about Nova Scotia and a connection and a natural ancestral line and heritage with it almost looks like it could be connected to New England, United States. So that's why we first became interested in it. And then when we saw that there were property options on the ocean, and then I saw the photograph of this space, um, we've always really loved the forest and the ocean, and this is just an incredible combination of both of those ecosystems. So we look out our window, I see the vastness of the ocean, but then there's this beautiful fairy forest surrounding the property as well. So it was really for the natural beauty and for exploring my ancestral roots, even if not in person yet, just the energetics of that and, where some of my ancestors came from.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and I'm so interested in the history as well. I went to the Grand Prix, which is near Wolfville. Wolfville's a beautiful place, as well. That's just been my plan is to travel the whole province as much as I can,
Mm,
and then I'm gonna go into PEI in New Brunswick, and then eventually Newfoundland, but, they were talking about the, Acadians, how they
mm.
were deported because of the British, and I'm like and then I went to the site where they actually, like, just shipped them, like, "Get out." They kicked them out. I was just standing there. I'm like, "Okay, I felt a lot, I guess is what I'm saying. It, uh, it's very
Yeah.
sad, the things that we do because if somebody doesn't fit in, they're different. But then they talked about the Cajun as well, and there are big ties to, like you said, New England and, Massachusetts as well.
Mhm.
Am I forgetting anybody? Anybody else? In the Americas there? Anyways, I kind of nerded out a little bit, into every place I go into, so
Well, one of the interesting things about this area is it's also where the Mi'kmaq Indians, natives, Native Americans, originated in this general area, and they used to come to the seaside, during the summer months. So it's we've definitely been tapping into that energy. Um, we even spent a few evenings just watching different videos of, like, tribal songs and dance, just, you know, going into sort of that energetic field of what that is, but just really feeling the energy of the ancestors. So I'm always, in my meditations, in any of my healing work before the sound baths, I'm always calling on the energy of the ancestors of this land as well as my ancestors. And then just feeling that deep connection to the elements of nature, which are, so visceral here, the spirit of the trees and the spirit of the ocean and of the sun and the beautiful moon rises. And, I do barefoot walking on the earth every day. So just to be really in the elements in such a deep way on a daily basis. And there aren't a lot of people in this particular area. There's a small community of houses. We travel about an hour to go to the grocery store. There is a little market here, but it's much more of a rural, uh, oceanside nature retreat where you're really just immersed in nature. And, with that relaxation and healing and rejuvenation that nature brings, it's also a real opportunity to really look at yourself and really to dive deep into your own internal processes and unfolding,
absolutely. Yeah,
which is why it's such a great spot, I believe, for all of the retreats we are going to host here. Simply just being in such deep connection with nature and then also having that space to just really navigate whatever it is you are navigating in your life, whatever is unfolding, whatever you're working through.
absolutely. And, are you originally from Los Angeles, or is that where you spent a lot of time?
I grew up in Massachusetts. Seth
Mhm.
did as well. We didn't meet until we, moved to New York City. I met him in New York City in Brooklyn. I lived there for quite a while, and then moved to Los Angeles for about 7 years. During COVID, we went up to our mountain cabin about an hour outside of Los Angeles, and then from there, we came back to the East Coast to reconnect with my family and also to look at properties out here. Our plan is to be a little bit here, a little bit in Massachusetts where my family is, and also in Los Angeles on the West Coast as well.
Wow, that's a lot of traveling. That's a
Yeah.
lot of traveling.
Well, I think the best way to travel, and you as you know, because I feel like you do this as well, is to really just spend a few months in one spot.
Yeah,
And
I
then
love
really
that.
just feel that feel the area, really immerse yourself, and then, move on to the next spot at that point. When you're traveling every other week, I agree that's a lot on your system, it's a lot to move around in that way. Um, but every few months, I feel that works really well because then you can really just ground in whatever area, you're in.
Yeah, that's really good. Like, when I traveled across South America for 6 months, yeah, I you need at least a month in each place. I don't know how people can,
Mhm.
like, tour Europe, for example, in 1 week or,
Yeah,
even one city. It just doesn't seem to be enough, and I remember when
yeah.
people would come to Cusco to get ready for Machu Picchu, for the big climb. They were warned
Mhm.
about altitude sickness, and I was on a walking tour, and the people had just landed from Germany a couple hours ago, and the one girl there, she didn't last. She had to go back to the, hotel because you could
Yeah.
tell she was suffering from the effects, and it's no joke, but I listened to the locals, lots of tea and, lots of rest, and I was fine. But then I
Yeah.
also feel I've always, like you say, we have the mountains, we have the nature in us already. We're kind of already, climatized in a sense, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. So, do we wanna talk a little bit more about, the Dream Oracle Retreat that is coming up very, very shortly, October 12th to the 15th at, your beautiful sanctuary?
Yes, so this would be the first retreat we, are hosting here, and it's been nice to have this as sort of a pivotal point to get everything ready for because we've been renovating the last year. This house is such a cute little like oceanside cottage. And some of the house was built in the 40s, the rest of it in the 80s. So upstairs, we're pulling back the carpets to this beautiful wood floor. And I've been renovating basically for the past year. Seth has been doing a lot out in the yard. We cleared away this entire field so that we have this beautiful oceanfront access. So it's really opening up as a retreat center. And yeah, we're really excited to share it with people. We had a lot of members of my family and some friends come over the summer, and everyone just really enjoyed it so much, just felt, really at peace and really just absorbing all the nature around them. And we provide all the meals as well. We only use organic ingredients. We cook really healthy diverse menu of things to keep people in their best physical state of being while they're here. So, like I said, everyone who's come has just really enjoyed it, and we're really excited to share it with everyone and also to offer the sound healing in person. We've been doing so much of our work online. We do occasionally still have some engagements in Los Angeles and Massachusetts, but here in Nova Scotia, it's been mostly online. And so it's really nice to have an opportunity to connect again in person with community and build that way as well as our online community.
Yeah, and I mean, your sessions, again, they're just so beautiful, and you pull in all the aspects. You're pulling in the elements, the universe. You bring in shamanic references. I believe you do some. There's the sound healing. There's the meditation. What am I missing? But you do some.
Mantra.
Yes, your mantras. You do some ethereal Do you do light codes and language as
Yeah, there's
well?
some light codes in there. There's some, Hindu and Buddhist mantra. There's like Native American blessing. We really like to pull in a lot of different elements, whatever resonates, everyone's welcome, everything from um, references to oneness and the universe, to God, to energy, whatever it is that resonates with you is, something that we offer. And there's a lot of power and a lot of different spiritual practices. So really, we're just using whatever we've felt the most benefit from, regardless of what the different backgrounds are. So yeah, and I think we're actually one of the few people I've seen online really doing that, just pulling from, these different sources of spiritual power and of um, just energy.
Yeah, and I feel that's why I was so drawn to it because in the work that I do the very same thing. Whatever is being, I feel, I'm intuitively feeling, I'm pulling, I'm seeing. It's like a building of this little, I call it a toolkit, whatever you want to call it. You just grab this, you grab that, you sprinkle, it's, and that's a really beautiful practice is you guys really go with the flow. um, I mean, anybody wanna comment on their videos if they haven't seen them or experienced their sound baths? You have to support these guys. And if you've never, just at least try it once. I mean, how can you have an opinion of anything if you haven't tried it? I get that a lot with people. "Well, I don't think I'll like it." And I'm like, I'm gonna go back to when I was raising my boys, when they say I don't like broccoli, and I'm like, "Have you ever had it?" "No." "Well, you have to try it before you can say that you don't like it, and guess what? You still have to eat it." So, no, sorry.
Yeah, it's really a nice way to just I mean, we do it every Friday, so it's 7 p.m. on the West Coast, 10 p.m. on the East Coast, and actually 11 p.m. here in Nova Scotia, Atlantic time.
Wow.
But it's a nice space for people to just tune into every week to have some place to be with. There's a very supportive community. Um, it's always a really nice experience for everyone. The feedback we get from people who watch it live and also throughout the weekend um, is just always so heartwarming that we are helping people through so many different things that are going on in people's lives, that offering some guidance and some frequency healing, in the sense that it's just a safe space to be able to just really relax and let go of your stresses. And we're really humbled at how helpful it's been for people over these last few years since we started offering it online after COVID or during
Mm.
COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially. Yeah, I can imagine. Just saying hi to Chaley. Is that how we're saying your name? Hello,
Hi.
thank you for joining us. And if you're watching, feel free to say hello. If you have any questions for Jenny or for myself, whether it's live or on the replay, we'd love to know. We're not going to leave you hanging. And I just want to show, I have a few pictures, but we're just going to tease a little bit. I mean, this is Seal Harbor Sanctuary. Look at this. Look at this. When she was talking about the ocean and she was talking about the forest, look at this is beautiful. And the fact that you have like a circle around your home, I mean,
Hmm.
it's completions and new beginnings. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I just want to lay down in the grass and then that's it. I'm done. Um, and here's a little picture of the cove as well. So look at that. Whether you're brave enough in the middle of October, which I've already done, is to go into the water, and it is cool. So if you want a little cold water therapy, or you can just walk by the water, or you can do maybe some kayaking, whatever you would like to do. This is a beautiful shot. I'm pretty sure Jenny took this because she's very It's got the light codes in it, and yeah, it's very beautiful. We're also holding like a fire ceremony. There'll be a sound bath. There is a workshop about dreams and dream recall. There is also mediumship from myself. I will also be handing out dream journals, gratitude journals, and a copy of my book, Intuition Saved My Life. And of course, Jenny and Seth are going to have the sound bath, the healings, the meditation. So it's a whole experience meant to basically take you away from, where you are into where you're supposed to be. And then what I really love is for people to hold on to that feeling. Even though it's only 3 days, if you can practice or take one of the practices that we do over the 3 days and build it into your self-care kit and practice it every day, so that because what happens is when people go to retreat, they come home, real life happens, right? They go back to how things were, right? So how can we, I guess, maybe some advice from you, how can people sustain that when they're in a space like that?
Well, it's interesting because recently I was going through some of my dream journals. Um, I was just sort of working some things out in my own field emotionally, mentally, and Seth said, "Why don't you journal?" So I picked up a few of my previous journals and actually realized I had written down a lot of the dreams. And, we may not think when we first have the dream, we may not understand what it is. We may not think there's any relevance to it. But when you look back at a journal of, different thoughts and emotions you're having, with some dreams sprinkled in there, you can really start to see how the dream symbols and um, everything that's coming up is just part of your process and what you're working through and what's unfolding. And so I think the writing down of it all, and I guess this is my answer, even when you're not, at a 3-day retreat and totally immersed in sound healing and mediumship, this process of writing things down, allowing them to come through and come out for release if that's what's necessary, or to just come out to be processed or as something to be manifested. So I feel that can be along with your meditation and, nature walks and everything, yoga, everything else
Oh, the yoga, yeah.
that
Got
you
to
do
have the
to feel
yoga.
centered. Yes. But also just to, touch upon this dream journaling, because that's what we're calling our retreat, the Dream Oracle Retreat. And I know you're doing the dream workshop and, just touching upon the significance of dreams and, how it fits into our journaling and to our whole evolution and process of what we're moving through.
Yeah, I mean, your soul is speaking to you all the time. And the best way for you to receive that information is through your dreams. That's where, and you're actually, when you're dreaming, you're doing light work. You're doing a ton of work. So there might be some mornings you wake up. I don't know about you, but I'm like, I
Mm,
just felt like I ran a marathon. I need
yeah.
to keep sleeping. Like something's going on. And of course, I'm writing it down, then I go back to sleep. But we have to allow ourselves to, get out of this conditioning of not taking care of ourselves, not listening to ourselves, not knowing that we have the inherent truth. We always
Mm,
had the wisdom. We just need to remember who we are.
mm,
And the pen to paper for me and for a lot of my clients is huge. It's like lighting a candle. It symbolizes a ceremony, a starting of something, an intention. And when you allow and you open that space up, you're ready to receive all of that. Even though when you're writing, you're like, I don't know what I'm writing, and then I get, well, I want to channel like you do, and I'm like, just start writing. That's
mm.
channeling. And you don't have to have your eyes closed. You don't have to rotate in a circle, or those are people's ways of how they attune to a certain being or a certain star system. For me, I channel light. I channel God. That's it. I make it very simple. I think I feel we tend to overcomplicate things,
Mm.
or we get told that's wrong. You need to do it this way.
Mhm.
But what if I have a brain that's like ADHD and I'm not able to receive it that way, right? It's everybody has a different way. So, thank you for sharing that. Tracy is joining us from YouTube. Thank you. She's
Oh, hey. What's up, Tracy? How are you? It's so good to see you here.
Yeah, and thank you for tuning in and supporting Jenny. And let us know if you have any other questions about the retreat in Nova Scotia. I'm also holding workshops too, and mediumship parties. I'm like, why not? I mean, I'm here. That's what I that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to do it. But is there anything else that you wanted to share with us? I know there's a full moon coming up, is there not?
Well, the part of the reason I think we were both interested in October is because it is eclipse season.
Yes.
And the retreat is occurring during the solar eclipse. There's a lunar eclipse a few weeks later. So always eclipse seasons are just powerful times of shifting, of illumination. You know, lots of times big things are coming through for people. And so, when we get together in community and ceremony during these special times, then I feel like um, we're really able to empower each other and to support each other in the unfolding. A lot of times, eclipse seasons are very emotional.
Oh yeah.
A lot of things come up for release, but if you can navigate them in a productive way, in the sense of journaling your dreams, journaling your thoughts, meditating, staying in the frequency of love, gratitude, kindness, connecting with community. All of these things can help us to transmute and transform these energies into things that are really in alignment with our soul's true purpose. So they can be powerful portals. Eclipse seasons can be challenging, but also powerful portals when when we come together in support and sort of go through that portal with courage. And so, yes, another eclipse season coming up here in October. And yes, there is the final full moon before the eclipse season is
Yes.
actually the 29th. So it's coming up. I think it's Friday, Saturday, depending on where you
Yes.
are. And this is the fourth of a full supermoon, the fourth one in a row. So it's been like energy unfolding, escalating, escalating. And this is the final fourth full supermoon. Supermoon just meaning that the moon is orbiting close to the earth. And it's in Aries. So this is very much empowering us to finally let loose, cut the cords on what's no longer serving us, what we've been working through, even over the last few years, so that we can move into a very powerful new beginning. Um, Being right in our center, being in that I am frequency, knowing who you are, and moving forward in that alignment. So yeah, time to release all of that so that we go through this portal of eclipse season in the most empowered way possible. And, it's also about absorbing all this light energy coming in, from the cosmos. And this is not just astrology, this is astronomy. There's more light energy coming through into the earth plane. And we can absorb this in our bodies if if we create a container that is healthy in body, in mind, in spirit. And so, we're preparing for more light energy, meaning more wisdom, more information, more energetic alignment, more ability to manifest our heart's desires more quickly and through thoughts that are in alignment with our true purpose and with the greater good of all beings.
Yeah, I love that. I definitely feel that, and I know that eclipse season can, the effects can last up to 6 months as well. So, it's all about divine timing. But here's the key: you need to surrender,
Hmm.
and it's not on your timeline. I feel we have to remember that as well.
Well, I feel this surrender to is a lot of what the Dream Oracle retreat is about as well, because these intuitive activities, the sound healing is released, the intuitive channeling of dreams, the mediumship. This is all part of the yin energy of receiving the information, receiving healing energy, receiving abundance from the universe. This is allowing us to open up and receive what we need so that the doing part of our lives is just in this flow state of being rather than struggling, rather than, you know, what maybe we're conditioned to think that we have to work and try really hard. But that now we're learning to receive in a greater way and to open up to more of this yin receptive energy. And I feel like dream symbols and information is part of this receiving this wisdom.
Yeah, and many times the ego wants to, just kind of pick at everything and try to figure everything out. Don't go there. Just say, "I'm not sure what this is, but I'm gonna please send me more information. I'm
Yeah.
patient. I'm waiting." And many times it'll show up in some of the funniest ways and ways that you would never expect. I mean, we tend to limit ourselves. So when we're manifesting, I like to say this or something better. Because
Mm,
when you do that, then you're saying to the universe, "Well, you bring in what I don't think I could ever expect,"
yeah.
which is,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I just finished recording a couple course pieces in my 1 year course, and the title was "Why Your Beliefs Are Bullshit," and it's so true. It is true. Many people, pre-COVID were living all, lower 3 chakras. They were stuck in fight, flight, freeze, and fawn.
Mm.
Um, and now we're all learning that doesn't work. That's not how we're going to react in our lives anymore. We're going to respond with, like you said, the yin energy, being curious, asking questions, receiving, surrendering.
Well, the universe wants us to be abundant, to be joyful, to receive what we desire, to be aligned with our soul's purpose, to be connected to community, to feel, a deep sense of self-love, love for others and universal love. So it's the thoughts that don't serve us are the ones that block us from what is already ours, what is already there, already exists, this heaven on earth frequency vibration. So we want to remove any of the thoughts or energies that prevent us from really seeing it in this moment and being it in this moment.
Yeah, as I've always said, we're human, we're not human doings, we're human beings. And
Yeah, and that's Eckhart Tolle was talking about this. There's so many people, especially in Western culture, that are so well versed in the doing part of reality. But this idea of simply being is something that we're really cultivating on a greater level, or really just starting to understand for some people that this beingness, this being fully present, because in the present moment is where all the healing happens. It doesn't happen in the past or the future. So this ability to just be present and to be content in the present moment is really the thing, isn't it? It's the ultimate in a sense, you know? So just the discovery of that and whatever helps bring us into the flow of that present moment and to really experience that in the full way, I feel is what we are unfolding into.
Yeah, when we really move into, when the shift into Aquarius in 2024, the golden age, when the
Mm.
real shifts happen. I always say it's like setting the table. We're just setting the table. We're getting ourselves ready. And I don't know about you, but the Schumann's resonance, are you familiar with?
Yeah,
I
the resonance of the earth.
Yeah, I know that there are a couple pages that people post. They show the graphs, and it's fun because sometimes, I'll be sitting there and all of a sudden and I've already discerned this, that left ear ringing for me is downloads and upgrades, and right ear is messages. And sometimes they go off at the same time. Sometimes it's only one, and then there's other days where there's like blackout, nothing. So then
Oh.
I'll go and look at the graph and I'm like, "Oh, it's blackout. Okay, that's why nothing's happening." But when it starts spiking, like you're getting the white light coming in and all of that across the blue screen, I can feel it in my body, especially my left leg. It's and I'm like, "Okay, I'm tired, my back." And normally my back doesn't bother me, so I'm like, "Okay, something's going on here." So, um yeah, it's just, and I love sharing that with people because a lot of us feel like we're crazy,
Mm.
or what's going on, or I feel like I'm getting attacked, but
Yeah.
it's a thought form. It's a collective thought form, and there
Mm.
is such a thing. I'm
And when
learning
you're
more.
empathetic, you're tuning
Oh,
into
yeah.
that and you're
You're like an
absorbing it.
antenna. You're just an
Mhm.
antenna. Yeah. But I teach people how not to let it take you down, how you
Mm.
can rise above and actually broadcast your own energetic body out.
Mm.
Yeah. It just takes
Beautiful.
practice. Yeah, that's what we need more of.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So did you have any questions for me at all, or
Well, I'm wondering a little bit about your mediumship sessions. I know probably everyone who watches your channel is very familiar with them, but since I have not personally experienced it yet, we met online. I would love to hear a little more about what that process is for you. And I know you just mentioned the ringing and feeling it in your physical body.
yeah.
Um, but I'd love to hear more about like how that works for you. Does someone ask you a question that you tune into, or is there information that comes through when you're in the presence of someone online or in person?
Yeah, it actually starts about a week before where I record my dreams become more prophetic because obviously, oh, spirit knows we're going to work. So it starts with that and just subtle conversations, and some synchronicities are going on, seeing repeating numbers, and then I'll ask for information. I'll get, it be as simple as cooking at the, dinner, and all of a sudden some insight comes in and I'm like, okay, that's not for me. That's most likely for my client. So I'm always writing notes. Like sometimes I'll have stickies all over the house, but then I bring my dream journal to the session and I lay, like, again, I set the table. I let them know what my sessions are. It's a mix of everything. It's mediumship, it's intuition, looking at the energetic body, auras, your chakras, past lives, Akashic records, pretty much the same thing. And I don't want them to tell me anything. I just say, okay, here we go. And it just starts coming, either, downloaded, right, from myself, but then it's a mix with the dream journal first. I get that out of the way because when I start reading it, they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know about that, but I know about this, and maybe that's for my mom." So then it really is for whoever they're surrounded with. Like it's their family, it's their extended family, it's their friends. And some of this afterwards, they'll be messaging me weeks or months later saying, "Remember when you told me about this? I didn't remember, but now I know what that means." Or that was for my aunt, or whatever it is. And I just let whoever comes through. And of course, there's placement with spirit. So because you're playing a game of charades, meaning if they're going like this to me, I've learned, I have a book of signs and symbols. So I know that this means you look like. So when they're doing that, I'll be like, well, you look like, and if they're standing on the left, it's the dad's side. And if they're on the right, it's the mom's side. So that's how I work. It's just something that I learned from my mentor. And then as I go along, I really I would say I am very attuned to them. I will come in and go, I had a headache all day." And they're like, "Well, I have migraines." Okay. I don't get headaches. I don't get migraines. So I know that's not me. Or I have like a sharp pain in my shoulder. Well, I hurt myself. And then when we're doing body scanning at the end, where I'm clearing their energy, their chakras, I'm checking to see if there's anything. A lot of times, digestive issues come up right away. Um, and that's really tied to them not being able to be who they truly are. Like not being able to digest life causes digestive issues, not just
Mm.
the food, but everything else. So, yeah, that's how I work. And sometimes their animals will come through, their pets will be on their lap. So I'm bringing forward their cat or their dog. Um, if there's babies, then I see them like this, like if they're under the age of 1. And spirit, when they pass, there is no suffering. Like when you have a loved one, if they're sick, they are not sick anymore.
Mm. Yeah.
They're happy. And what makes them very sad is seeing them suffer here, meaning they have a lot of guilt and shame
Mm.
that they didn't get to say goodbye, or they hadn't talked for 10 years and their dad passes, whatever it is, right? Or they're
Yeah.
fighting over their estate. That's a big one.
Mm.
The money. Mhm.
Well, it's really helpful to bring in this information. I feel for people, at least mediums that I've connected with in the past, that it definitely allows people some emotional release, some sense of peace. And, even if they can't fully move on, um, something about it just helps them with that process of I guess the process of grief, and just
Yeah.
of letting go, and of just
Mhm.
moving on in their lives, to whatever version exists, without their loved one, or without, it's really like a very strong energetic pattern and field when there's the other people in your lives that are suddenly not there. The energetic level of what
Yeah.
shifts is so, so profound. It's hard for me to even put it into words. My father passed years ago, and what my mom was, specifically my mom, navigating as this, just energetic shift of like a repatterning of, she used to say she couldn't feel anything, so she would sometimes go swimming in the really cold water because it
Mm.
was the only thing she could feel.
Oh, wow.
I'm getting chills when I'm saying that. So
Yeah.
it's just this, something comes in with the wisdom and information that allows you to feel, so that you can suddenly have that opportunity to release that out of your, not only your emotional and mental field, but gets in your body to just, clear that out. It's like, it's like a portal that the energy just is able to travel through, I feel.
Yeah, and many
Or
times,
transmute.
yeah, transmute. And I'm just honored to hold space for people. I mean, it is the work that I do or we do is very sacred.
Mm,
I take it very seriously because these are people's lives, these are people's emotions, these are people's stories and vulnerability.
mm,
Yeah. It's really hard for people to be vulnerable and not know and know that they're not going to be condemned or shamed or made fun of, whatever that is, right?
yeah.
And then you can see the relief after, and then it's like going to sound healing as well. The shifts that happen, it's all underground. You can't
Mm,
see it yet. You can't feel it yet. Maybe you
yeah.
feel a little bit, but you don't know what it's gonna be like 6 months from now, and then you look back and you're like, "Wow, I had no idea. I had no
Mm,
idea." And not only that, I get people that are, "I wanna hear from somebody." Well, that's not how it works. Whoever
yeah.
has the biggest personality is gonna show up first.
Mm,
Whoever has the biggest message is gonna show up first. And then there'll be people that come out that maybe you haven't know or been connected to for a very long time, or you
mm,
don't even know who they are. Like, there's a lot of that too. Well, I didn't know my side of the family very well. So
yeah.
I'm giving them names and stories, and they're, of course, it's recorded so they don't have to write everything down, but they can go back and go, "Oh, that's what she said," because we forget.
Mm,
Because 'cause you're in that space.
yeah.
It's like it's a portal. It really is. Yeah. It's,
Beautiful.
it is.
Amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you for the work that you do.
Yeah. No, it's, something that, um, honestly, I can't put into words. It's just, you're doing the work you love
Mm,
when it's just, I call it cloud 9 energy, I guess, like, but there's way more levels than that, but it's that feeling.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful.
Mhm. Wonderful. So is there anything else you wanna share with us before we say goodbye? We still have spaces, of course, for the, Dream Oracle Retreat, and we'd love to have you. And, of course, there'll be more, retreats coming up, I'm sure.
Mhm.
You guys are working so hard on that.
Yes. Yeah, the next one is coming up in June. My
Oh, wonderful.
sister is a yoga teacher and energy healer, and she's hosting a retreat here in June. So we're excited about that as well. Getting the
Lovely.
ball rolling with the retreats. If you build it, they will come, right?
Yeah, The Field of Dreams. Oh,
Yes.
that's a great movie.
Oh yeah, Field of Dreams, of course.
Wonderful. It was so wonderful to connect with you, and
Same, thank
I
you.
can't wait to meet you guys in person, and then, I mean, if anything, go and check them out. Then we didn't even get to talk about Phoebe. That dog is just
Here,
so beautiful.
she's right there. I'm gonna go get her.
Okay. I am just like, I work with animals a ton, and this dog is so chill.
She's
She
so special.
she lays down the whole time while they're it's just amazing. "Oh, hi, Phoebe." Oh, was she sleeping?
No, she's eating.
Oh, eating, okay. It's either eating or sleeping. She's like, "Hello."
Thank you so much for having me on the Soul Fed show, the Heart Led Soul Fed podcast. Beautiful. And for all the work you do. I look forward to meeting you in person and to hosting a spectacular treat here at Seal Harbor Sanctuary.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, share, and follow, and rate and review so others can find this show. I have over 266 episodes. And go check out Jenny, Seth, and Phoebe on YouTube and support them. Dynasty Electrik. All right, everybody. I'm sending you lots of love. And please
Mm.
remember, healing begins where the ego ends. Take care.
Thank you.